We are in back to school mode with interior designer Glen Peloso, getting dorms set up. That's what we're going to do today.
We're going to get dorms set up, yeah. Because what will happen next is that it will sort of fall on, like it'll become your parents' responsibility to figure out how you're going to get to school, unless you're clever enough or old enough to be able to get all these things for yourself.
Okay.
If you're going into a dorm or you're going into a university situation and you're going to like have a shared accommodation, there's a bunch of things that you want to need in order to be able to have what I call a successful time.
Okay.
So just a couple of super practical things that people rarely think about. These are bed risers, and all they do is they basically sit underneath the legs of your bed.
Okay. How sturdy are they?
Very sturdy.
Pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you put the bed on all four of these legs, and it increases the height of your bed just enough that you can get a suitcase under, you can get like a big storage box under. So all of a sudden, all of that space under your bed that was hard to create is usable. Plus, you get a little higher off the ground, which makes it much more practical in my estimation.
Okay.
The other thing I liked, and it's not so common, is that Tapco has this Wi-Fi door lock. So you can perhaps put it on your dorm, or perhaps put it on your shared accommodation. What that means is that everybody who's coming and going from your house has a fingerprint, and they can come and they put the fingerprint on, and whoever has control of it on their app can see that that this person has arrived or that person has arrived, and it lets you know who's coming and going.
Now, is there hardware to use for this?
It's the simplest thing in the world. It just basically replaces the deadbolt on the door. So you take the deadbolt out, you put this on, and then it electrifies. If it runs out of battery, you recharge it again with a USB key, so it goes on, and it'll go on for a year. Everybody can come in and put in a code. You know always who's coming and going. Now, say you and I were dating, and then we broke up. It was me. It's something I did. I'm sure it was something I did.
I'm going to say it was you.
It was me, yeah. So I'll admit it right now. I don't know what I did, but I know it was me. And then we want to make sure. So if that happened, you might have given somebody a key to your place, and that's awkward getting back. Now I just changed the code. You're not allowed in anymore, and everything is clear. So everybody that's sharing the house with you feels super safe and confident, and everything works out like that. So that
maybe ask the school though first, like if you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. They're going to have access to be able to get in. The landlord's going to want to have access, but not so hard. Just like I just need your fingerprint, and it's all good to go.
Okay.
Once you get into your dorm, just a couple of smart little practical things. Having some place to put your laundry as you're doing that is a smart thing to do. You want to have some relatively decent towels when you go off. So if you're buying stuff for your kids, make sure they have something that's decent, that's going to last well. I think it's always nice to have a throw that you can throw over your shoulders. A couple of nice pillows on your bed is a nice thing to be able to do, just because it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. I think the way that it goes, something fell over.
Something fell over.
Our locks,
it's one
locks that fell over. It's also,
it was you.
It was me. It's always me. I know this thing already. But it's nice to have something that, because often people sit on their bed and they work. So having one of those pillows that sort of wraps around you allows you to sit up, plus having a little lap desk. It feels odd sometimes because it's filled with beans on the bottom. It sits on your lap, but it keeps the heat of the computer off of your lap, which can get super hot. It allows it to aerate a little bit, and you can sit there and work if you don't want to always be sitting at a desk, and that's sort of how it's probably going to go away at your university. Then you want to have a bunch of things that are just, practical things to be able to store things. This, I think, is fantastic. I gave
it's like a shower caddy.
Yeah, and basically you're going to have a shared accommodation for shower, but do you want to leave your soap in the shower and your
no, you want to take all your stuff.
You want to take all your stuff with you at one time, do everything, and bring it back to your room, and perhaps put it under the bed, because now you've got
space.
And then other things to be able to, collect things. You want to be able to move things around in a way that's not difficult. You don't want to have stuff all over the place. Collecting it all together just makes it simpler. This could be for you, for instance, and maybe this is why we broke up. You had a tea box, and maybe I tried to put coffee in there, and you're like, why is there coffee
in my tea box?
And I'm like, I didn't know there was a rule. And then we talked about it, and you're like, I can't be with a guy who puts coffee in my tea box. And so
Speaking of, okay, what kid can afford this tea kettle?
It's true. I mean, Smeg is a beautiful brand, and it makes
it is stunning.
It's stunning. And so this is something you're going to keep for a long time. This is perhaps if you are the uncle or the aunt, or maybe you're the mom, and this is something you buy for someone, and then it's going to be a long-term thing. But being able to make tea not coffee. I don't know how I made that mistake, but you want to make tea in your room or coffee. Being able to do this on your own is
Very
nice.
cool.
You don't have to be able to go somewhere. I mean, you could have any kind of tea or coffee pot that you wanted or kettle that you wanted. If you wanted to be cool and have your friends think you're cool, then you want to go with Smeg.
Okay, we've got 30 seconds left. I
Cool
love these storage boxes.
They're just storage boxes.
Looks like
you
a
can
record
put
player.
anything that you want in them, and they come in little doubles. I think having like something like this is smart to be able to have. Just what I would put in here if I was a parent is a first aid kit. All the stuff that, not the gauze that kids don't know how to use, and that stuff.
Band-Aids.
This the Band-Aids that go in there, a little bit of bacteria, antibacteria, polysporin, that kind of stuff. And then you want to have a couple of frames because this is Annette's cat, which
That's
is
Betty.
ever so cute.
Okay, and we're going to end on Betty.
I always love ending on Betty, and I liked Betty, and I was upset that I didn't get to see Betty after we broke up.
You can see her now.
Oh, it's so great.
You can keep the
I'm
picture.
glad-